Good evening, televiewers. Welcome to this the edition of Prime on my Media Prime TV. Today we're going to be having an exclusive interview with Senior Barrister Ashu Emmanuel, who is the national president of the Reform Party in Cameroon. With him, we're going to be talking about the strike action that took place by workers of CDC yesterday across some camps in the plantations of the CDC in the southwest region of Cameroon. We're going to listen to the workers express their grievances. We also are going to take a listen to the general manager of CDC, who will tell us or situate us with what management has done so far, especially with respect to the government. We are also going to be looking at the performance of some ministers in Cameroon. How efficient are they, given the state of affairs in which we are living? Gives the impression that many things are not working when we look at the nature of our roads and the cleanliness nature of our cities and other environments. We're going to be looking at how prepared the Reform Party is for next year's election, 2025 presidential elections, and the call for a coalition. And if time permits, we're also going to be looking at some burning issues touching on our national life. Senior Barrister, we're glad to have you on Prime Hour.
Thank you, Mr. Kum. Good evening, esteemed televiewers. It's my pleasure to be with you this evening.
Okay, we're going to start the program with this report by Jato Derek, painting the picture of what happened in the southwest region yesterday, Tico to be precise. Okay, it's not yet, seemingly not yet ready at the level of our machines, but you got information about strike action by the workers. Are you surprised, or you also feel that there is need for government to do something urgently to look into their situation?
Thank you, Mr. Kum. I'm a CDC child.
Okay.
I grew up in Moliwe, schooled in Moliwe, until I left there to go to bilingual grammar school boy in 1972. So I know exactly what these people are going through. The CDC workers are one of the poorest category of people in this country, and the paradox is that they are very, very patient. So if you see them taking to strike action, it means that their patience has run out and life has really become unbearable. I am not surprised that this action came up, because these are people who have actually been sacrificing, paying with their lives for the work that they are doing and not being paid for. We know that the secessionists had made it a matter of policy, what they called economic sabotage, to make sure that CDC does not produce anything. And on this platform, we have severally called on these separatists to spare the lives of these poor workers whose only sin is to seek a means of livelihood. Fortunately, they have given us some listening ear, and we are not getting the gruesome massacres of laborers anymore. But with all the hyperinflation around, we know the CDC workers are the type of people who have large families. They have large families. They are only being sustained by the farm work that they do, and it is but normal that the workers, the employer, should pay them their salaries. We know that CDC itself has been having some problems, but they are not off the market. The area that has been off the market is Del Monte, the banana section. But palm oil is being produced, is being sold, and we expect that the management was supposed to at least pay the workers for the sacrifices they are putting on the table.
Okay, we are now going to take a listen to this report as presented to us by Cedrick.
They say their backs are faced to the wall and they are left with no option than to face their fears face to face.
Every day, workers are crying, workers are dying. Payment, there is no payment.
They work, they're not getting paid. They don't keep our money, keep on.
No work. That is it.
Protest is not the language.
Matuke Rubber Estate's office is closed. That is the office closed.
From Mondoni to Edinao, Chico to Pernambuco, CDC workers poured out their anger on everyone on their path, raising questions and answering them at the same time. How can we go for 55 months without salaries?
Nothing.
No money, no work. Frankly, we don't do that.
This one questioned. No pay, no work was the sing-song of the day. They have been working without salaries, and today they came to inform the general manager of the Cameroon Development Corporation, the CDC, that he will only have them return to their work site only when they must have been paid what the corporation owes them.
We pay our money. We beg them, pay our money. Pay our money. Pay our money.
I beg J. Franklin. There they refer to the general manager. Give us our money, please. A worker is hurt, begging. We don't even need to beg him. It is our money. The GM should pay us. We work for it. Another replied.
Pay our money. We beg because the money is our own. So we need the money. Pay our money. We need the money.
Tension is mounting and the anger is rising. The general manager of the Cameroon Development Corporation should step down, or he will be stepped down.
Our general manager must step down. We don't want him in that office again. And before he step down, you have to pay all our money, all our debts, everything. You have to be paid. He must go. And he must leave the office.
With peace plant in their hands, trying to tell their story in the best way possible. And in frustration, their legs took them where they now say, instead flame the already burning issue at hand. These restless workers of the Cameroon Development Corporation, the CDC, say silence is consent, and if anyone don't identify with them now publicly, therefore the said person is against them. What they need now are answers in their favor.
Security today. Where did they work? Work to go, rubber to go, banana to go, banana to go, where they enter, everything. Would they inside you? Would work? Would not come?
And their desperation is running wide. All technicians are on the field. The rubber, the banana and oil are being exported. We are the one working. Yet the general manager has refused to pay us. A story of one of the CDC workers who has just collapsed is reported.
What begin they don't die, what begin they don't die. That's the man that we have to live for people today. Also worker, someone don't die, someone don't collapse. We do not work it.
Report says he used his last energy to protest, but could not keep up. My Media Prime our team is yet to independently confirm the authenticity of this information. Everywhere is flooded.
No one man over camp can see over. That is it. From today till they can see we no work. That is it. For we for make and make this strong, every banana them.
Since no one has come to see us, we want to announce that we have down our toes. We will not go to work. Shutting down offices, they left their mark for the world to see that they were here and left unattended too.
Thank you very much, Cedrick, for painting the picture of what happened in the southwest region yesterday across some plantations of the CDC. But let me take a read. Today, someone dropped this in our forum prime this morning. The person works with the CDC. It says to react to those who think salary arrears are owed just to field workers. Please note that all CDC workers, without exception, are owed salaries. We all have stakes in the decision by government to pay a huge chunk of the arrears. The general manager have held several meetings with staff representatives in this regard. The recent meeting is where he gave this important announcement about the decision by government to pay arrears owed to CDC workers from 2018 to 2022. Unfortunately, it has taken longer than expected, and we all know a hungry man is an angry man. Workers are frustrated, and it is normal to react as such. If regular salaries are to be paid, field workers are always prioritized because of the crucial role they play in the corporation. This month, corporation-wide, they have been paid, but no supervisory or managerial worker has been paid so far. This just tells you how important they are to the sustainability of the company. Regrettably for the CDC, the chief cause of this is a socio-political crisis that has seen our mills, factories vandalized, and some plantations shut down. Okay, but now almost everybody is looking up to the CDC GM. You know that for the years where this crisis was at its peak, CDC found it difficult to operate, and this matter was taken to government, and government certainly made a commitment to come to paying the arrears, because they're talking about 55 months. If you were to look at 2016 up to where we are now, it is almost 8 years. But how, as a GM, how would you arrest this situation? Where do you get the monies to pay for all these years?
Mr. Kum, when you listen to that story, it looks like CDC is producing nothing, and government has to come in to bail the corporation out. That doesn't seem to be true, because I have personally been down to the field to witness these workers carry out their daily duties under the supervision, under the covering of the military. So if somebody says the separatists are disturbing production in CDC, that is a fat lie. It used to be in the past, but no more, because I have personally seen.
Yeah, but this person says that this month they were all paid.
Well, that person is saying they are all paid. The workers, they are striking workers, say they have not been paid. So I better take what the workers are saying, because the man who is testifying can only talk for himself. The people who are striking say they have not been paid, and they can only resume work when their money will be put inside their hands. So I'm saying that I have the impression the GM is not telling us the right story, because another worker said there, banana is being produced and sold, oil is being produced and sold, rubber is being produced and sold, and that is very true. So do they mean to tell us that all these products that we see ferry towards the ports and exported don't fetch any money for CDC because of the socio-economic, socio-political crisis? That is a fat lie. They should tell us the real story. There's something happening that they are trying to hide. If CDC does get money, let us see what is it that could have caused CDC to be in difficulty. Does CDC have rents? Let us look at their overheads. Their overheads are mostly the workers, the payload, energy, maybe taxes. So what do they have? All their houses, all the CDC houses are owned by CDC. So that one is out of the way. Payload, they are owing the workers. They have not paid anything. Now, taxes, I'm not sure government has gone there to ask them for taxes. Because if government say we are going to help you to pay salaries, it means that government knows that there is something wrong with the money. So where is CDC money going to? Are they sending this money to the treasury, or are they sending it to some other place that we are yet to be informed? So I think the GM has some explanation to make.
Okay, let's take a listen to the general manager of CDC.
Thank you, Mr. GM, for accepting to talk to the microphones of my media prime on this topical issue concerning the CDC. We know recently the company has been hit with a serious crisis that has led to a series of strikes from the CDC workers. And early this morning, we saw the workers on the street from Edinau to Tico and other estates of the company. So we are here in your office this morning for you to tell us what the company is doing to address this situation. Thank you once more for talking to my media prime. We know, if I'm not mistaken, as far back as 2018, some of the estates of the corporation have not received salaries, and the workers have been on the street severally, and with assurance from the management of the company, you have assured them severally that the company is going to address this situation. Why the stalemate? Why the delay? And what is the company doing to address this issue?
That was breaking news this morning. Our attention was drawn to that. We saw the videos of our workers who were on the streets in Tico, in Pernambuco, and in some other areas where the corporation is located. And their main grievance is salary arrears that the corporation is owing them. And that is why they took to the streets. From the side of management, it is a known problem. It's a problem we know about, and which has been the subject of a good number of working sessions with the state and other stakeholders. Progress has been made. The state has decided to take over the salary debt for the period 2018 to December 31st, 2022. It's a total of 35.7 billion about, and a convention to that effect has been signed. One of the big problems that the workers have is that on the basis of the convention that was signed, management had a meeting with the workers and told the workers the progress that had been made. And there was reason for workers to have expectations that the first part of the payment, because that money is supposed to be disbursed in 2 installments, workers had reason to believe that that first installment would be paid latest September ending. That was the expectation. Unfortunately, that expectation has not been met, not because of a fault of CDC management or government. No, government has taken a decision and stands by that decision. The point in question, what caused the problem, was that the commercial bank that was retained for the execution of that, the content of that convention, there were issues of conformance and issues of capacity. So that commercial bank that was retained, we had to revisit that decision. So that it has taken a lot of time to first to call for other commercial banks to manifest their interest, carrying out negotiations with them, and submitting them to hierarchy to check, do the normal due diligence checks.
Okay.
So that is why we are where we are. That's why we've lost a lot of time, And what I can say is that that process is quite advanced. There is a proposal that has been identified to be likely suitable. The finishing touches are being done for a concrete proposal to be put in front of the competent authority, namely the Minister of Finance, for a convention. The result of all of this exercise will be that there will be a convention between this commercial bank, commercial financial institution that will execute, CDC, and the states represented by the Minister of Finance. That's what we are working towards. Our message to workers is in line with what I've said. The resolution that we have come out with, CDC management, the unions, is that they should be calm. Let us return to our routine work and let us have confidence in the fact that the state is a responsible stakeholder that stands committed to what she has decided, and it will be executed. Let us be patient and we stay focused.
Hi televiewers, hi Leonard. You've heard it from the horse's own mouth. That was from Franklin Buninjie, the general manager of CDC, as concerns the workers' strike of CDC that took place this morning. It has been Kum Leonard signing out for My Media Prime Television, all the way from the seaside resort city of Limbe.
Very much Kum Leonard, and also to you, the General Manager of CDC, for accepting to grant us this interview to clarify on what is happening. Very difficult for workers to understand what the General Manager is saying, because these are high-profile negotiations that are taking place between his office, maybe the Prime Minister's office or the Ministry of Finance. But these other guys are in Pendamboku, and difficult for them to understand this.
Mr. Kum, I don't understand what the General Manager is talking about, because CDC is a corporation that masters its payroll. Except they have changed, because normally CDC pays its workers in its offices. So if they have problems with commercial bank, the commercial banks the money should be dished out to CDC directly, so that the workers can go to the offices and collect their pay as usual. You see, I don't know of any fee worker who goes to the bank to collect money. They all go to the paymaster's office and collect their money there, their cash. So
no, I'm sure he's talking about the disbursement, because he's talking about 39 billion.
Yes.
That is supposed to. Yes, maybe it has to do with first taking it to the bank before it is brought to them. Except the Ministry of Finance is handing over the money directly to them.
The minister could as well hand it to them straight. That's what I'm saying, because I would understand that there would be a problem with any commercial bank that has to handle a number of workers, open accounts for workers to come and collect money.
I'm not sure.
That is the thing. So that's why I'm saying that CDC must controls its payroll. So they should send the money to CDC itself. Let their cashiers pay all the monies. But that way we will not have any problem with the commercial bank.
Yeah, also difficult, but do you also understand how it will be difficult for those who are in Edinau, in Tico, in these rubber factories to understand what because seemingly it was the lack of communication, or also they have waited for so long?
Well, there again, if you know how CDC functions, every camp has a camp. It has a general manager, a supervisor, and all those people. There's a strict hierarchy.
Yeah.
So if there is register of agreement and the GM wants to inform his workers, that's very simple. Just send copies to the local hierarchy. They will summon the workers and produce the evidence. And I don't think any person seeing that evidence will want to organize a strike. If they are organizing a strike, it's because they have not seen anything credible, and that is why they are telling the GM that they want their money. So what Mr. GM should do should inform his workers through the CDC hierarchy that this is the situation. Give them proof that Monies have been disbursed, and you're only waiting for things.
But you know how Cameroon functions. At times, you may send somebody to pass out this information they may not believe. Maybe the GM himself will need to communicate more, because getting this from the GM himself is different from getting this information from somebody with whom you've been spending so much time. They may just think that you've crafted something and you want to play on their intelligence.
Mr. Kum, you see, the CDC, the CDC is a corporation that respects hierarchy.
Okay, very structured.
Very, very structured. If you go to a palm estate, they have the estate manager. He's high up there. Under him, you have supervisors. Under the supervisor, you have intermediary staff. Then you come right down to if the estate manager calls a meeting, I don't see one single worker who will not believe. They will come and listen. And if proof is given to them, I tell you that these are people who don't like trouble. They are very patient. If they see proof, they will surely call off their action and wait for the monies to be put in place.
Okay, we once again are going to be listening to the GM address the workers or explain what is happening in Pidgin, because we know it is also the language that many of the CDC workers understand. The more, not just CDC workers, but a chunk of Cameroonians, they understand Pidgin. Let us listen to him explain what is happening and what is not happening in Pidgin.
The worker them say we understand. Say plenty workers they don't be comfortable with the fact say the promise way will be pronounced on the 1st of August that they will get meeting for SS Club. It never be respected. Management get understanding for that one. Management get understanding too for the difficulties for workers that they go through. But waiting where management want talk for the workers and say I feel say we get one choice. We get now one choice. We get one choice and say we're already there for train where it move towards the direction for achieve the goal where all we want. Where government go assist for pay salary areas for CDC workers. Government don't sign convention. Government stand for honor the thing where it will sign, the undertaking where it will sign. And the decision, not shake for the decision. The delay where it be cost, it be na say the commercial bank where they be retainer, where we do retainer because of the proposal where they be making for fit go for the implementation for pay the workers because of regulatory issues and other issues. That bank is not fit carry out that assignment. So we don't work with government, and government we don't give clearance. We don't ask other bank them. May they come in, may they declare their interest for carry out this transaction. So 3 proposals will be received, and for the committee who will work, committee, the meeting committee for Yaoundé, we don't identify which will we think say it be a suitable partner for this transaction. The finishing touches foresee their proposal and bring them in line with what the way government regulation talk and what the expectation for government they talk, namely the rates of interest and so on and so forth. That work it will go on, and we expect say it will complete soon. Immediately it be completed, that file it will go for Front Minister of Finance, and after that stage it will be na say we go the 3 parties will be CDC, that is CDC management, they act now on workers that behalf. That means the workers represented by management, the government represented by the Minister of Finance, and then the financial the financial house when they will carry out the responsibility for pay. The assurance where I feel give worker and say will they do everything will be possible for make the time be as short as possible. Some protein they do in a procedure, something they do in a technical issues, but we go with the follow-up for make the time be as short as possible. And make we know, I want make workers they take one thing maybe very serious. Say, for this time, for a country where we know say government get plenty engagements. For government for take decision, for put CDC in case like priority, it be an important one. So make we maintain level head then. Despite the pain we will feel am, despite the discomfort, we will maintain level head so that we will continue for being priority for government table.
Thank you.
Okay, you understand the explanation from the GM?
Yes, from what the GM is explaining, I gather that this financial agreement looks like a loan that government is contracting with some private banks, guaranteed by the state, and that's why he's talking of interest, the interest rate. So if that is the case, well, it will take some time because to have a loan of 39 billion. 39 billion.
It's much money.
It's much money. And many of these commercial banks don't have their capital. Their entire capital is not up to that. So yes, I understand why it will take some time. So it looks like it's a loan that they are giving CDC, and that loan is guaranteed by the state. So, but he has to inform his workers.
Yeah, but in this play where the workers themselves have they've lost patience to the point of taking to the streets, where do we place the role of the trade union of these workers?
Well, you see, let me say this again. The area concerned by government intervention is 2018, 2022. So, government, like I was saying earlier, at first the secessionists were disrupting production. Now it is no longer the case. So, government is aware that since 2022,
things are better.
So, why are they not paying the workers? At least for this last section, let them pay. I know they have money, let them pay. Now, for that first section, well, if the workers are taken to the streets, I think I saw some gentleman there with in suits. That looks like a trade union representative. The unionists will certainly call on the workers to take things into their hands when they themselves can no longer control the boat. So I think that's the last straw. Certainly because the trade union workers themselves have seen that they cannot get management to budge an inch. So that's why they are making the management now to feel the pinch by calling for mass action.
Okay. Now, if you were in the shoes of the government today, because you're aspiring to take over power as national president of the Reform Party, how would you address this issue?
Well, it's a very simple thing. You see, CDC is the second employer after the state. As it's a big corporation, big agro-industrial concern, which is responsible for a big chunk of Cameroon's economy. So, I had once said here, I don't know whether it's my advisor was taken, that they should send soldiers to protect these workers so that production resumes. And we have seen that since the soldiers entered the place, production has resumed. Now, that is a good move. If I were head of state, I will not go in for a loan that will be given to the corporation. I will give subventions, direct subvention, so that the production is not disrupted. I will go in for direct state subvention so that production is upheld.
Yes, but the GM gives the impression that CDC is a priority to the state. Is that the impression you have?
I don't have that impression, because if the state had given them direct subvention, they will not be passing through a commercial bank. With Treasury dishing them out money straight away. Yeah,
but CDC has been in a very difficult position since 2016 when this crisis started. And yes, and till now we have not seen a quick action taken to salvage the situation, because it's difficult for the CDC to pay this money, sir. And what is the state thinking? Because Now, the workers are saying that if we are not paid, we're not going back to work. And should these commercial banks and what the GM is saying drag on for so long? It is the corporation that is going down.
Yes, Mr. Kum, you remember I said I have the impression there is something they're not telling us, because I don't understand why CDC products will be seen in the market. I remember a certain video of Eric Tato in the USA offloading CDC products. Now, if Gary Master can offload CDC products, it means that these products are entering America. They're entering America, they're entering Britain, they have not lost their market. So where is the money that they are getting from selling these goods? That's the problem. So that's why I say they should tell us the true story. Are they paying these monies into the coffers of the treasury, and treasury is finding difficulty giving it back to them, or there is someone that use that is made of the money? Because I don't understand why rubber is being sold, oil is being sold, banana is being sold, but workers cannot be paid, and they don't have big overheads apart from salaries, taxation, lights, because in certain areas they have their own light production, except they must have stopped production of power in Mianja and all those places. They are capable of producing their own current. They used to produce. So even if they're taking fuel from a NEO, that cannot stop them from paying workers. There is some story that this will is telling us. I want to know exactly where the CDC money is going to, because when you sell in the international market, CDC products are products that are of very high quality. I want to remind viewers that, well, they are no longer producing Toleti, but Toleti used to be the Queen's tea. Toleti used to be the tea that was consumed by the Queen of England. So you have their oil, which is very, very good. They will tell us that maybe they have closed down Mondoni oil mill. Well, they should do something to reopen it. The mill was not burned down. Maybe they closed it because of lack of raw materials. But now that production is picking up, let them reopen it. Reopen the Tico rubber factory and every place. Let this corporation function normally. Why not? They can bring palm nuts from Sokapam and other places to mine them. Sokapam is not very far from Mondoni. Why can't they get Sokapam to supply Mondoni with palm nuts that will keep the mill running? See, those are all negotiations. I think that the CDC people should do more than what they are doing. Unfortunately, what we see, because you asked the question whether the state is doing enough, what we see is that the state doesn't seem to be doing enough. I want to put a question mark. The CDC lands, the lands that were given back to the villagers, vast plantations that were carved out and given back to villagers. You see, we'll talk and then forget that is loss. That is direct loss to the corporation of plantations that are productive. You take them and give the villagers, and then you expect the plantations to still produce. So the government should rethink some of those policies before putting them in place.
Okay, before we move on to something else, let's take another listen to the report that was presented earlier by Jato Derek.
They say their backs are faced to the wall and they are left with no option than to face their fears face to face.
Every day, workers are crying, workers are dying. Payment, there is no payment.
They work, they're not the green baby. They don't keep our money, keep on.
No work. That is it.
Protest is not the language.
Matuke Rubber Estate's office is closed. That is the office closed.
From Mondoni to Edinau, Tico to Pernambuco, CDC workers poured out their anger on everyone on their path, raising questions and answering them at the same time. How can we go for 55 months without salaries?
Nothing.
No money, no work. Franklin, we don't do that.
This one questioned. No pay, no work was the sing-song of the day. They have been working without salaries, and today they came to inform the general manager of the Cameroon Development Corporation, the CDC, that he will only have them return to their work site only when they must have been paid what the corporation owes them.
We pay our money. We beg to pay our money. Pay our money. Pay our money.
Edgard Franklin. There they refer to the general manager. Give us our money, please. A worker is hurt, begging. We don't even need to beg him. It is our money. The GM should pay us. We work for it. Another replied.
Pay our money. We beg because the money is our own. So we need the money. Pay our money. We need the money.
Tension is mounting and the anger is rising. The general manager of the Cameroon Development Corporation should step down, or he will be stepped down.
Our general manager must step down. We don't want him in that office again. And before he step down, you have to pay all our money, all our debts, everything. You have to be paid. He must go and he must leave the office.
With peace plant in their hands, trying to tell their story in the best way possible. And in frustration, their legs took them where they now say, instead flame the already burning issue at hand. These restless workers of the Cameroon Development Corporation, the CDC, say silence is consent, and if anyone don't identify with them now publicly, therefore the said person is against them. What they need now are answers in their favor.
Security today. Where did they work? Work to go, rubber to go, banana to go, banana to go, where they enter, everything. Who they inside you? Who to work? Who know the job?
And their desperation is running wide. All technicians are on the field. The rubber, the banana and oil are being exported. We are the one working. Yet the general manager has refused to pay us. A story of one of the CDC workers who has just collapsed is reported. Report says he used his last energy to protest, but could not keep up. My Media Prime Hour team is yet to independently confirm the authenticity of this information. Everywhere is flooded.
No one man over camp can see overturn. That is it. From today till they can't see we, no work. That is it. For we for make a make this strong, every banana them.
Since no one has come to see us, we want to announce that we have down our toes. We will not go to work. Shutting down offices, they left their mark for the world to see that they were here and left unattended too.
Okay, thank you, Jatu Derek. But this person says senior barrister does not really understand how CDC operates today. The person sends us some explanation. Says CDC produces oil and sell lower than the cost of production. There is a government-regulated price for palm oil. If the plantations have reduced because of the crisis, how can we still produce and sell and pay same number of workers? The head of state gave firm instructions that no worker should be laid off. General charges are overburdening the payroll. All production is below capacity for rubber and palm oil. banana is still picking up, and it's a partnership agreement which CDC will only start making profits only after some years. You understand? Yeah. The workers, nobody was laid off. Production is below capacity, but they have to pay everybody.
Mr. Kum, tell the gentleman that I understand perfectly how CDC operates. Now, CDC is governed by international contracts. When he says production is above the local price, that is true for Cameroon, not outside. Let me remind him that most of CDC oil, you don't find it in the market. The oil that CDC gives here in the market is the third grade. It's not the first two grades are exported. Now, you don't find them here. In fact, what you find in Cameroon is oil that Cameroon imports from Gabon, not CDC oil. CDC oil is exported. And except you want to tell me that we are exporting our oil to other countries at a lower price than our production price, which is a big lie. The price of the oil is dictated by the international market, not by our own local market. The international market. We saw this with coffee. When the prices went up, we saw with coffee. It's the same thing. It's the international market that dictates the price. And as I said, CDC has contracts to supply to certain companies for a certain period of time. So that story of prices going down is not true. They still have to explain to us where that money is going to, because they continue producing, they continue supplying their suppliers with their finished product, and we don't see the money. That's the problem. And even the government has taken cognizance of that. That is why the person
says as we speak, CDC does not export oil at all. That's a lie.
That's a
they export banana but not oil.
That is not true, sir. Except that CDC doesn't. Is he saying CDC does not produce oil?
They produce oil, but they don't export oil.
They don't export anymore.
Yes.
Okay, I will make findings on that. Because I know CDC had export contracts with Palmolive, with certain companies like Palmolive and all that. So I would check, but I know that they export first grade and second grade. Because you go to our market, you will not find CDC oil. You won't.
Maybe it's because the production is low, but I am really pleading that I may go down to
the supermarket.
I may go down to Limbe to do some findings, and then
in the head office.
Yes, have an in-depth interview myself with the administration of the management of
that
CDC.
Will help us, sir.
Or I would gladly receive them on this platform with you so that we clarify these issues. So there are many persons, because like I said, the general manager is explaining it is Ewane is now also from their understanding that this could be a loan that the government is giving to CDC. Yep. But somebody who is in Mianja, who is in Pindamboko, who is in Tiko, they will not understand all of this.
They should be told.
So there should be some form of
communication.
Yes, communication with the people to really understand, because what the GM is explaining, I will understand, but you would understand.
The man down there will not understand.
Yes, and then when we hear now that they are producing under capacity, and that firm instruction, no, we can. You said you are going to do findings. It's before
under capacity, no.
Yeah, no, it is. You lose nothing to go down there and do the findings. Yes, just go down there, find out that before 2016. What was their production capacity, and today what are they producing? Now the person is also saying that the head of state said nobody should be laid off, which means that they
laid off.
Oh, you will not argue.
People were laid off. No, CDC people, they were laid off.
Okay.
They were. I received cases of people laid off by CDC. I received that.
Okay. So this is. I want to remain professional. I will not want to work on speculations or hearsay. I work with information that I have. I think that I should get down to CDC, or also invite some of their workers, if possible trade union guys, to come and explain these things, to know that, okay, this is what is coming in, this is the amounts we are making cannot actually pay for what is required, but that also we are receiving information that they are not exporting oil Meanwhile,
where do they sell their oil if they're not exporting? I want to see, first of all, let them give us the quantity of oil they're producing and where they are selling it. Because I would like to consume grade A CDC oil. If they have it, please let them indicate to us where is it available, because that's very good oil.
Somebody says, "Chai, that buyer." Say, in the international market dictates prices for rubber, not palm oil, and says all our oil is consumed in Cameroon. No one has been laid off. So these are information that are coming in. We are going to do findings. We are a professional media. We will not want to give out information that is false. So I would really plead to do another edition of this program. But before we move on to something else, we've listened to Jato Derrick speak. Let us take another listen to the explanation by the GM before we move on.
Thank you, Mr. GM, for accepting to talk to the microphones of my media prime on this topical issue concerning the CDC. We know recently the company has been hit with a serious crisis that has led to a series of strikes from the CDC workers. And early this morning, we saw the workers on the street from Edinau to Tico and other estates of the company. So we are here in the office this morning for you to tell us what the company is doing to address this situation. Thank you once more for talking to my media brand. We know, if I'm not mistaken, as far back as 2018, some of the estates of the corporation have not received salaries, and the workers have been on the street severally. And with assurance from the management of the company, you have assured them severally that the company is going to address this situation. Why the stalemate? Why the delay? And what is the company doing to address this issue?
That was breaking news this morning. Our attention was drawn to that. We saw the videos of our workers who were on the streets in Tico, in Pernambuco, and in some other areas where the corporation is located. And their main grievance is salary arrears that the corporation is owing them. And that is why they took to the streets. From the side of management, it is a known problem. It's a problem we know about, and which has been the subject of a good number of working sessions with the state and other stakeholders. Progress has been made. The state has decided to take over the salary debt for the period 2018 to December 31st, 2022. It's a total of 35.7 billion about. And a convention to that effect has been signed. One of the big problems that the workers have is that on the basis of the convention that was signed, management had a meeting with the workers and told the workers the progress that had been made. And there was reason for workers to have expectations that the first part of the payment, because that money is supposed to be disbursed in 2 installments, workers had reason to believe that that first installment would be paid latest September ending. That was the expectation. Unfortunately, that expectation has not been met, not because of a fault of CDC management or government. No, government has taken a decision and stands by that decision. The point in question, what caused the problem, was that the commercial bank that was retained for the execution of that, the content of that convention, there were issues of conformance and issues of capacity. So that commercial bank that was retained, we had to revisit that decision. So that it has taken a lot of time to first to call for other commercial banks to manifest their interest, carrying out negotiations with them, and submitting them to hierarchy to check, do the normal due diligence checks.
Okay.
So that is why we are where we are. That's why we've lost a lot of time. And what I can say is that process is quite advanced. There is a proposal that has been identified to be likely suitable. The finishing touches are being done for a concrete proposal to be put in front of the competent authority, namely the Minister of Finance, for a convention. The result of all of this exercise will be that there will be a convention between this commercial financial institution that will execute, CDC, and the state represented by the Minister of Finance. That's what we are working towards. Our message to workers is in line with what I've said. The resolution that we have come out with, CDC management, the unions, is that they should be calm. Let us return to our routine work and let us have confidence in the fact that the state is a responsible stakeholder that stands committed to what she has decided, and it will be executed. Let us be patient and we stay focused.
Hi televiewers, hi Leonard. You've heard it from the horse's own mouth. That was from Franklin Buninjie, the general manager of CDC, as concerns the workers' strike of CDC that took place this morning. It has been Kum Leonard signing out for my Media Prime Television, all the way from the seaside resort city of Linde.
Okay, once again, thank you, Kum Leonard, for that interview with the GM of CDC, and we also express our gratitude to the GM of CDC for availing himself to talk to the people to clarify some of the issues which may also be understood and not really understood by the local man. And but it's still a process that calls for patience, but also a need for government to fast track whatever process they are into.
Yeah, as I earlier said, I would have preferred the government to step in and give a direct subsidy, because passing through the long process they are using is frustrating. We know that CDC has enough guarantees to repay, but it would have been better because this is a second employer after the state. So it is really of prime importance that this corporation stays afloat. So I would have gone in for straight subsidy, direct one. If they would have given even half of that amount of money and said, okay, commercial banks take care of the rest, that would have been better. That would have been better. But to say commercial banks should handle the entire thing, to me, it does not show enough commitment.
Okay, doesn't show enough commitment, but the GM calls for patience and for everybody to go back to work, hoping that priority is given their situation. We are going to be coming back to
I would like him to communicate more. Let him send his supervisory staff down to the field to explain to the workers. They will surely understand that.
Okay, we are moving straight to our next talking point with you, Senior Barrister Ashu Emmanuel, National President of the Reform Party, which has to do with the efficiency of our ministers in Cameroon. When you look at the way things are happening in Cameroon, are you very comfortable? Are you okay to say that the state or the collaborators of the head of state, those appointed to head the respective ministerial portfolios, are doing well?
Mr. Leo, to be very candid, I feel very, very uneasy when I look at the way the government is being run. Because, you see, the Cameroonians normally say after appointment, the ministers just go solo, they work, nobody controls them. And I'm tempted to think that they are almost right, they are almost correct. Because when you look at the way some ministers attack each other in public. They expose each other in public, and then they don't even take time to do the job that has been assigned to them. It's rare to look at a ministry that has a good follow-up of its programs. Very rare. I want to commend the Minister of I think secondary education, who took her courage and said, I am not sending my teachers to be killed. If any person feels threatened, please indicate so that you can be relocated. That shows a minister who is actually touching the day-to-day life of her teachers. But if you look at another minister like the Minister of Health, who notices that people are going around, moving around with dangerous drugs and sends his people to go and control, and then he's stopped by another minister who says, you don't have the right to do that. And on top of that, we have somebody who may be considered the discipline master, who doesn't say anything. I would have expected that in this type of situation, the Prime Minister should be brought into play. If you, one minister, see that your colleague is doing something which infringes on your own prerogatives, it is incumbent on you to call on the Prime Minister to say, please, hello sir, I think this minister is infringing on my duties, and not to go public to start attacking your colleague. And what hurts is that when that is done, there is no follow-up. That we don't see any sanction. The public does not see any government sanction on these belligerent ministers who go public to debase the ministerial functions. Now, how do I feel when I look at the way the government is functioning? I think that we don't have a government. In fact, when the head of state came back from Europe, I was one of the people who said, what we urgently need in this country is a ministerial shake-up, because many Cameroonians are fed up with this current government. It is hard to see a ministry that is working. Take Ministry of Transport, Ministry of Public Works. Can you imagine that Changhil? What we saw there. Mm-hmm. Can you tell me that it is only when that landslide occurred that these people realized that that place was mush? That's not true. We had a similar situation in Bakosipe, and the technicians decided to put a flyover. How come that place, in that place, they decided to make the road pass? How? It's not today that place became like that. There is a problem.
Okay, there is a problem. So we are going to continue with the situation of our ministers. What is, according to you, is not working? Is it inertia or the eternal wait for cabinet shake-up that is not also motivating ministers to wanting to put in their best? Because for so many years it has been rumored that there is going to be a ministerial shake-up, and nobody is working, hoping that they are going to be moved.
Well, you know, when somebody has stayed on a post for so long, it feels like a person who has planted a coconut tree and is expecting to harvest the fruits. Mm-hmm. So because of routine, people avoid invention. They keep doing the same thing over and over again and think that they will get different results. So I think that keeping people in place for too long is not a good thing. And many people are appointed ministers. We don't see any roadmap. You are appointed a minister, they say you are Minister of Health. There is no roadmap. Even when you are appointed, you don't tell the public, this is what I intend to do as Minister of Health. Now, we don't have this practice in Cameroon where ministers who are proposed for appointment have to pass through the Senate for scrutiny. Now, scrutiny ought to be 1, of conduct, 2, probity, 3, of intellectual uprightness. What are you proposing? Political? What is what input are you bringing to the government? If you are made minister, how are you going to better this institution you are called upon to head? It is not the president of the republic who will tell you how to run the ministry. No. they appoint you, you are supposed to know how to run the place. So I think that there is something wrong with the appointment process. Before you appoint, they ought to find out what capabilities these people have. What do they propose? Because if you look at the political party that is putting them there, this party does not have anything. There's no plan of action. So, because normally the political party is supposed to give you the roadmap, political roadmap. This is how we want her to work. But in the present case of CPDM, they don't have a political roadmap. So any person appointed minister has to improvise. And while he is improvising, there is also the fear of stepping on toes. So, in fact, in my opinion, what this present setup has to be scrapped. It has to be scrapped, and then we put in place some government setup that will be responsible, because this, what I'm seeing, doesn't satisfy me at all.
It doesn't satisfy you. If you are complaining about the ministers not performing their duties or meeting up to the expectations of the population, these are ministers who go through our National Assembly every day to defend what they have to do each year. Are you saying that our MPs are not aware of what is expected of them from their respective constituencies?
Thank you, Mr. Leo. What do the ministers defend before the parliament? They defend their budget. Their budget, not their line of action.
Yeah, but next year you are coming back to defend a budget which should justify the work done.
They are defending a budget. The following year, they don't tell you how the money was used. That, you see, that's the problem. Eh? You are giving money. Today you are giving 500 billion to go spend. Next year you come, you don't tell the parliamentarians what you did with the 500 million you took, a billion you took last year. You come to defend the new budget of the coming year, which is about 700 billion. How did you use the past budget? No, it's nobody's problem. You see, that is where we have this problem of accountability. The minister should be made accountable for what they do with the monies, the budgets that have been given to them. See, you cannot give somebody money. At the end of the year, he doesn't tell you how he used it. The following year, you come and still give him more money. That is where there is a problem. And you see, I am saying, apart from this idea of giving them budgets, you are supposed to tell us, to show us a plan of action. How are you going to run this place? This is very important. Let us take the example of this of the roads, the road network. Every year they vote monies to construct roads. Now we see what they construct as roads. Every road that links the 10 regional capital is only a small 10-meter road, 1.5 on each side for the pavement. There's 7 meters of tar. 60 how many years after independence you are still constructing that type of thing that you call a road? No, they should come up. There should be some avenue where these people tell the population what they want to do, or maybe within the government circles there should be some think tank group that should say, for the construction of roads, this is what we want. Roads should be like this, so that whoever is minister should know that the roads that are going to be constructed should be of this dimension and of this number. And then you see the danger of the highways to the local population. They make roads to pass through towns and to villages, towns and cities. That increases the number of road accidents. We of Reform Party think that a major highway should not pass through a village, it should not pass through a city, it should not pass through a town. Let it pass away. So, and then you have some road linking that highway now to that town or to the city or to any village. That way you don't have people being killed unnecessarily on the highway. See, then maintenance of what use is it to make a road where you cannot maintain it? Look at the state of the roads. All our roads are bad. There are very few that you can pride yourself of having in this country as a road. So there should be, you see, in the years after independence, we had this our PWD. I mean, in the Anglophone system, we had this PWD, Public Works Department, that had vans that were going out every day to repair potholes. It was a very good exercise. They were going out every day to repair potholes, and the reason was, they said, a stitch in time saves 9. The moment a pothole comes out, the following day you see they have come there, they cover it, and their roads keep going. But today they'll expect 10 kilometers to get bad, then they come, they say they want 10 billion to repair. No, that's bad. What is the work of Ministry of Public Works? They should have a mobile team that should be repairing roads and not to wait for the entire road to get bad. You see? So how can I be satisfied with this type of ministry? With this type of ministers who, I mean, they allow things to get rotten before they start crying. I want things to go on well. You go to Ministry of Health, every day we have these cases of children being stolen in maternities. I mean, it has happened in Douala, it has happened here, it's happening almost everywhere. Why can they not put video cameras in the maternities and make sure that there is security to avoid baby theft in the maternities? They should make sure that children should not be stolen. But we have the same case. You have this case of professional negligence. We had this story of a woman who operated upon her sister with a razor blade in Lakentini. You see, to remove the children. That is terrible in a government hospital. And what was the sanction? Nobody was ever informed of what happened. You see, so those type of things make me to lose confidence in what I am seeing. Although we know that we have good medical doctors, but again, even the follow-up, if you have a medical doctor who is a specialist and you refer to him the cases that are carried to our hospital, you cry. You cry because a client came to me complaining that his child went to hospital and the doctor wanted to operate on this child. He said, no, you cannot operate on my child. He said, no, I must operate. The child said, okay, I want a second opinion. To call another doctor who said, this child is not sick. Okay,
the child is not sick. But would you, as President of the Republic, keep the size of government?
No. I mean, there is no reason why we have 70 ministers in all. We say we have our own model government, which we say is an alternative system. We can run this country with 9 ministers, 1 prime minister. We don't need 70 ministers. You see, we propose a government of 9 ministers, 1 prime minister. That makes 10. Each region giving a minister. If that is the system we are going to keep. If we are going for confederation, then each confederal state will have the same system, so that all the divisions inside should have a representation in government. There is no need creating unnecessary frustrations. Because you are president, your area produces 60% of the ministers. That's wrong. It's wrong. You are erecting tribalism into a rule of governance. It's wrong. Let every area be represented in government. We have intellectuals everywhere. Anyway, those who created this country, they were not big. All of them were not big intellectuals. Ahijo did not go to university. Foncha never went to university. But they created this state. So I think that all the regions of the country are entitled to have representation in government.
They're entitled to, okay. And many persons are still hoping that there should be a cabinet shake-up. Is there need for one, knowing that elections are coming up next year?
I am first among the people who want a cabinet reshuffle, because the current government seems to give us the impression that they have run out of ideas. They have run out of steam. They don't have the ideas. They don't seem to even have the enthusiasm to continue. Okay. So they should be changed. They should be
changed. Are you comfortable with the state of our roads in Cameroon? The nature of just everything, the way things are managed in our cities?
Well, I had talked about the roads. I think it's a very sorry case. The way we have the roads we have, be they intercity, interurban roads or national roads, it is the same such story. It is even worse to go to farm to market roads because those ones have been abandoned since 19 where. You see, people normally say where the roads pass, development follows. So if you don't have roads, it is obvious that there should be no development. Now that we are harboring under this system where there are no roads, people still have the effrontery to tell us that Cameroon is going to have 7% growth rate. It's nonsense. You want your economy to grow, you must have roads because it is through the roads that building material is carried. It is through the roads that your farm products are carried. It is through the roads that telecommunication equipment is carried. Everything passes through the roads. Even people have to use the roads. So if you don't have roads, how do you develop? Now, security-wise, if you have a security concern, it is through those roads that you have to carry your troops, your police people, your soldiers. You don't have roads. How do you address security concerns? You see that the roads, the road network, is actually very, very important. Now, health-wise, if somebody is ill at night and you want to go to the hospital and the roads are bad or the roads are not accessible, how do you save this life? There again, you see, the importance of the roads, of good roads, cannot be overstressed. It is imperative that the country should be given usable, walkable roads that people can use at all times.
Okay. The ministers have not done well to take care of our roads. What is your appreciation of the city mayors that we have around? Because Douala is a city, and you live in Douala. How appreciative are you of the work of the city mayor out here? And certainly you have seen the roads of Yaoundé.
Let me start with Douala. I personally wrote to the city mayor of Douala, complaining to the city mayor that somebody around my house was constructing on the road. If he's listening to me, let him get to me. I will give him the proof. I wrote to him officially that somebody was putting up a 3-story building in the middle of the road. He had divided the road into 2 and left, you see, out of the 10 meters, this man left only 4 meters for the road. This mayor sent somebody to me. The man came with a bike and asked me, he asked me first of all to pay him his fuel. I gave him 10,000. He was disgruntled that I did not give him enough money. Then he said I should go and pay how many 100,000 so that Minister of Land should come and tell us whether that house was on the road or not. I looked at this man and said, are you really in your senses? What is my interest in having this house on the road removed? You are the city mayor. Normally, under the law, nobody should construct a house that violates town planning rules. You are being called to a case where somebody has built his house on the road, a road that has been mapped. The gutters are there, everybody is using it. The road is visibly blocked. You say another person should spend before you come and find out whether the house is on the house that you are seeing on the road is on the road. Mr. Kum, as I talk, that house is still there. People are living in it. If you like, come, I'll go and show you. That is what I make of this mayor. I have reported to him, that case to him. He has done nothing. I go to the second case. Now we have this Bonaberry road. Well, he may want to tell us that the road is a national road, but that is arguable because it is inside his town. When there are potholes on this road, and then Mr. Mayor comes to repair the potholes by putting seawall, that disappears 2 days after. Is it that this mayor does not know that in a highly populated city like Douala, a road should be repaired with quota, not seawall? That road has not even been completed yet. It is yet to be handed over to the state, but it is already finished. So why should the city mayor? You remember when the minister of the government, the delegate for national security came, he complained because even reaching Carrefour Music, this old man was made to suffer. After he passed, they went there and put some strips of seawall. So why should Mr. City Mayor of Douala be repairing our roads with seawall? Instead of, does it mean that he does not have enough money? Because he has a road repair team. He has, I know he has. I've seen the vehicles. Why does he send those teams to go put quota on those places, fix them well, so that those roads can be pliable? So I consider this negligence. It's negligence, and for me, it's something that, look, please, if you want to elect city mayors, that one should not be re-elected. Eh? I am a political party leader. I'm telling you, you want your roads to be maintained, they should be maintained by people who know what road maintenance is. What I'm seeing in Douala, there is no road maintenance. Now look at our bridge, the new bridge over the Vuri. High, good piece of architecture. But Mr. Kum, there are already 2 potholes on that bridge. It's the second time I'm saying it. That bridge has 2 potholes already. And if nothing is done, they'll grow bigger, and very soon we have a problem with the new bridge. So does Mr. City Mayor want to tell us that he has not seen those potholes too? If it is not his domain and he has seen them, let him call the person who is supposed to repair those, to block those potholes, to take action. Now you go back to the heavy traffic situation in the city. In Yaoundé, at least, we see some semblance of flyovers. What is happening to Douala? Why is the city mayor not putting flyovers in Douala? Instead, they come and put us on Olympic-sized roundabouts that have the propensity to slow down traffic. It's wrong. This city mayor should grow with the population. Give us flyovers where they are due. In most cases, the money is used for those repairs and the construction are World Bank loans. So if you are taking these loans, please give us adequate road infrastructure.
Okay. Now, 2025 next year, this elections year, is the Reform Party prepared for these elections?
Reform Party is very, very prepared. I said on this channel some other time that we are going to have 6 months of effective campaign. And when we shall start, you will know that Reform Party has come. We don't have any local, any representatives, any elected representatives. So we are certainly going in for an alliance. When the time comes, you know with who. And that alliance is just for eligibility. An eligibility alliance. But for the actual work in the field, you can be assured that we are on the field. We are not going to make an alliance and say we have 36 parties that are nowhere to be found. We are on the field, and those of us who listen to us, you will see that we are going to be very near you. We are coming up with enough infrastructural material that will carry us to you. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but we are going to come up with things that will bring us closer to you than you imagine. And when those 6 months come, you will see that all who have been campaigning, who claim to have been campaigning now like this, they are just joking, because you will see real campaigns in this country for the first time. We shall show you what political campaigns are. I don't need popular rallies, because rallies are a show of force. Why will you opt for a show of force when you know that that show of force will bring trouble? We are with a regime that does not like show of force. When you call people to come down to the streets, they send police and tear gas and guns. I don't want anybody to lose his life.
Yep.
We have our own methods, which they will discover and they will see.
Yeah, but any method that is not going to bring so many persons together, it means you want to do door to door, which is also very, very expensive. Do you have what it takes to do effective door to door across all the subdivisions, divisions, and regions of this country?
Thank you, Mr. Kum, for understanding me faster. Thank you. We do have the means. We do have the means to carry out our campaigns, to finance our campaigns. That is not very easy with everybody. And when the time comes, you will take your eyes and eat Christmas to see that we actually have the means. We are not going to beg for money from anybody. I want to tell you that Reform Party has never raised funds. We have never raised funds. And we can only do that a few months from the campaign, when we have put on our machinery and it's in full gear, that is when we shall tell the population that yes, we are here, and this is the time to go for the kill.
Okay, you say you've never raised funds.
Never.
So where are you getting your money from? It means that senior barrister is a very rich man. You're a billionaire?
Mr. Kum, well, interpret it as you like. I've been financing the party.
Okay. Are you saying you're a billionaire? Because
I will not give myself
you need billions.
I will not say
you need billions to cover this entire.
Mr. Kum, I will not give myself titles, but I'm not a poor man.
You're not.
I'm not a poor man.
And the poor man. Cameroonians are looking forward to a strong coalition to represent the opposition. They talk of an alliance. Is that alliance to some extent a coalition? Or you're just getting a party that is eligible
I said an eligibility alliance. That's all. We have the rest.
Yeah, but Cameroonians want a coalition.
Mr. Kum, don't bother yourself. Now, like this, the Cameroonians, when they look at the field, they don't see any person. That's why they want a coalition.
A coalition.
They're not seeing anybody. Yeah, I am telling you that when we start.
Yeah, but when do you want to start? Elections are next year. We are less than 11 months.
I have told you that we are going to have 6 months of effective campaign.
No, campaigns are going to be officially launched by the government. The government is going to launch campaigns for everybody to campaign.
We shall have
are you going to? You are a barrister. Are you going to campaign even before the campaigns are launched?
Let me remind Mr. Kum that political parties have a duty to educate their militants.
Yes, that's it.
But
so it's different from campaigns.
No, listen, Mr. Kum. It's a matter when you put a kettle on the table. Is black? Is that kettle black? The pot black, or the black? Is the kettle blacker than the pot, or the pot blacker than the kettle? My mission, and the carrying out of my educative mission, is a way of campaigning. It's a way of campaigning. So I can start my educative mission. That is why I say I don't like organizing popular rallies. I will carry out 6 months of effective campaign. That is, the other months that will come before the official campaign will be the educative part that is going to arouse the population around my party. Make the population know that yes, this is what this party stands for, and this is the reason why you can trust this party. So I'll educate the population as to the plan of action of the party, the merits of the party, and the roadmap we are tracing for this country. It's a role. It's an educative role. So it's different from open campaign that you have to put posters. I don't need to carry banners and posters. I will send my people down to go educate the people. I will have 6 months of campaign.
Okay, a special evening to you, Gift Kelly, and to Yes, who should be watching me from somewhere around Mashimbopi. Good evening to everybody watching us from that end. If Pakito Kaiser is there with you guys, just greet him for me. Why don't you like the idea of a coalition? Why don't you believe in a coalition?
Thank you, Mr. Kum. Why don't I believe in a coalition? The first thing is, in Cameroon, you never know who is who. Because we have so many political parties, and what we know is that many of those parties belong to CPDM. Others are CPDM allies, others are their friends, even undeclared. So it's very risky for you who have a defined position to go into an alliance with somebody you don't know. What we know is that in times gone by, those alliances have been blown up by the people who claim to be allies. When they see that the interests of their friends are being threatened, they blow up the thing and put you in more trouble. You can see that the position that we took has been followed up by, I think, Cabral B. He came up to say, no, I don't believe in this thing. Because people come up to say, well, we want to go into alliance. But you don't know their real intentions. Secondly, we have political parties that exist only in name. On the field, they are absent. They come to meet you for an alliance, which is a prominence alliance. They want you to bring them to limelight. When you ask them which part of the territory they cover, they don't cover any place. So why do you want me to go and ally with that type of party that exists in somebody's handbag? No, sir. If you want to ally with me, you want to ally with Reform Party, show me where you cover. Where are your own militants? Which area are you covering? What is your plan of action? Who are your party dignitaries? Let me see whether they are as responsible as the people I have, before I can now ask my convention to my directorate to look into the possibility of an alliance. It is not Ashu who should decide. You see, there are times when my director will put me in the minority and say, no, sir, this one we disagree. So before I present anything to them, I have to get enough evidence to say, this one is a responsible party. This one, they are here, they are there. For now, I don't see.
For now, you don't see. We were talking earlier on about the need for a cabinet shake-up, and you believe that the president should change the government, though we are less than a year to elections. What would such a government achieve? And others are of the opinion that the president possibly should do a government of national unity, where it brings almost everybody together to prepare better for elections. Would you agree to be a part of a government of national unity?
Now, you see, I have this position. If you are called to serve, that is a call to serve the flag. You should not refuse. It doesn't serve any purpose for any person to say, I can do this, I can do that. When you are asked to or given the opportunity to show what you can do, you back down. No, sir. Come and show the people what you can do, so that they will now decide whether to support you with your other proposals of, I can do this, I can do that. But if you turn it down, you don't want to show them what you can do because you think that it is unsafe for you to work under other people, then that is not good. You should accept to serve the state.
You should accept to serve the state. So, Senior Barrister is saying that if the President of the Republic were to contact him to be part of the next government, is accepting to work with this government. But are you going to work according to Reform Party or according to the manifesto of the head of state? Because he was elected President of the Republic under a manifesto, and that mandate still runs.
Sorry, Nsah. I said earlier that CPDM does not have a manifesto.
No, you can't say the CPDM does not have a manifesto. They were elected on the basis of a manifesto.
Cameroon is the state of law, sir.
Yeah.
And the law governing political parties. You see, it's law. That is how it is. I don't change anything there. That law governing political party says every political party has to file its political plan of action with the Ministry of Territorial Administration. Go to that ministry. I have been there several times. There is no political plan of action filed for CPDM. When you ask them, they tell you that their plan of action is pour le libéralisme communautaire, communal liberalism, which is not a plan of action. So, legally speaking, CPDM has no political plan of action that has been filed with the Ministry of Territorial Administration according to the law, in accordance with the law governing political parties. Now, if somebody is now called upon to serve in a government that is put in place by a party that has no political plan of action, what is he supposed to apply? That is why I said we need a political roadmap. If I am not giving a roadmap to follow, then I will use Reform Party roadmap. I will use Reform Party roadmap so as not to lose my credence, not to lose face by people. I will not allow things get rotten. I will use Reform Party proposals to make sure that whatever thing is given to me is well done.
What is different as contained in the manifesto of the Reform Party that would turn the fortunes of Cameroonians around?
Oh, wonderful. The first thing, nobody can manage a state without having mastery of public finance. If I ask you today who is keeping Cameroon's money, you cannot tell me. So the first thing that Reform Party has, which is different from what you have here, Reform Party wants to have a mastery of public finance by creating a central bank that should be the government's bank, the state's bank, the bank's bank, the regulator of the economy, and the enforcer of the national budget. All the monies from this state should be inside, this country should be inside the central bank. That's the first thing. And then all the monies coming in should be directed there. That is going to help us to know that we have so much in the bank. Today, if I ask you how much do we have, you cannot tell me. You've seen what the Minister of Finance is doing with CDC, guaranteeing a loan. He ought to go to his bank account and say, we have so much, let's give CDC so much. He cannot do that because there's no bank account. You see, so that is the first big difference. Now, look at our economy. There is no law organizing the banking sector. Nothing. We are going to come up with a banking law that should spell out the conditions of access to credit and the conditions of reimbursing credit, and make sure that any person who puts his house in as security should not lose that house because he cannot pay. If, in fact, if you give your house and you cannot pay, that house will be put on rent. When they finish collecting their monies, they should give back a house. That is what we want. Now they should create a housing law that should come up with new securities. Give a value to all the existing type of houses, so that a person who owns a Karabur house should know that my house is valued at about 300,000 or 500,000. A man who has a more house today, my house is valued at 100,000. That can can serve as a guarantee for a loan for you to the tune of the value of your house, so you can also do some small business. Those are things that make Reform Party different from what you are seeing today. Now, creation of jobs. Today, when you ask CPDM to create jobs, they will call industries that are existing and say, how many can you absorb? No, sir. We have a plan of action to create jobs from our own means. We are the only party who will tell Cameroonians in the face that we don't need foreign investors. I'm sorry, but we don't need them.
Yeah, but you've not also read the manifestos of other political parties.
I have. If you have somebody who has those type of ideas, bring him.
Yep,
I will show you in his manifesto.
You say you are the only political party. Have you read that of PCRN,
yes.
SDF,
yes,
CRM,
I have.
UPC?
PCRN, of late they came, their president has come out with a book. He writes a book and says that book contains his plan of action. Sorry, it is his book, not the plan of action of the party. The plan of action of a political party is voted by the Congress.
Yeah, but I'm sure he went for elections under a political manifesto. The book was just written now.
Yes, what he used for election did not have what I'm saying. So I have gone through all those. If you have anyone that is interested, bring it. I will go through it. But what I have read so far does not give me the impression that there's anybody with what we are putting on the table. We have a plan of action to create jobs from our own means. We don't need foreign investors. We can create industries here from our own means and employ Cameroonians. Then the agriculture, we're talking CDC. I asked you off screen, why can CDC not work with smallholders? Because these are people who don't belong to CDC, who are owners. They own their own plantations, but they can produce and take their produce to the CDC mills to mill them and give them their money.
Yeah, but I'm sure they work with smallholders, eh?
Well, I don't see many of them, eh?
They work with them.
So we see, we are coming up with a plan of action that will create a big demarcation between local agriculture and international agriculture. That is to say, we shall create an international market that will stop our neighboring countries from coming to create inflation in our local market. That international market will be supplied by people who are carrying out industrial agriculture. And among those people, we are earmarking the army and any company that want to indulge in industrial agriculture. Then the industry inside the country should be elevated with the help of all these research institutes, so that we have good yields, so that in our markets we shall no longer have scarcity of food. Somebody told me the other day, food comes from Cameroon, but it's cheaper in Gabon than in Cameroon. That is bad. So we should have cheap food in the market, available food in the market, and then the people who are coming from outside should not be able to invade our markets. Then our food that we produce here, people say Cameroon is Africa's breadbasket. I want to see Cameroon feed Africa. Let us produce this food and feed Ethiopia, Sudan, and all the rest who are happy or happier eating plantain, cassava, yam than eating adulterated grain from the USA. So those are some of the things that will make Reform Party different from what you are seeing. Now, when you come to, let us take sports. We have seen all this rigmarole that we have with Fecafoot and the Ministry of Sports. Now, we are coming up with very clear-cut ideas. We don't see the use of any minister, any man you call Minister of Sports. We don't see the use. For us, we think that sporting federations should take care of, should manage their affairs within the country. When it comes to the national team should be put under the ambassador of the country where Cameroon has a match. So the national team is in Cameroon here under the federation. When it's going out, the nearest Cameroon embassy to that place where to the venue of the match should cover that team. That way you don't have 36 officials accompanying a team of 20 players. You don't. I mean, you cut down costs and then you have effective management of the players within the country. How do you finance football or sports?
Yeah, but
all the companies within a local government area.
Senior Vice, we may be moving away, not to show we have much time left. There is this burning Anglophone crisis.
Yes, sir.
That is still ongoing. If you were made President of the Republic today, what would you do to stop it?
Now, Anglophone crisis is a, how will I put it? It's an unfortunate crisis that was brought about by dishonesty of some people to satisfy others, because the person who gained in that dishonesty is France. I don't know why we should be suffering from something that was done to satisfy a foreign power. Two nations came out of the United Nations. One was given independence from the other. The other said, you will have your independence by joining the other. That means in that joining, you are supposed to be independent. The other part of Cameroon went to Nigeria and said, we'll join the Federation of Nigeria as an independent province. It was clearly mentioned that one, their own joining was even lesser because it was independent province. But what happened here? They transformed the independence by joining into assimilation, which is wrong. So the solution is a simple one: bring back that state on the table. Now, my proposal is that today we have identity crisis in Cameroon all over, because no region wants to be governed by another. I prefer confederation so that we create as many states that will take care of those independent interests, so that we don't have any security problem anymore in this country. Personally, I think that the Southern Cameroon's crisis should be solved by a confederation, and I will go in for about a 20-state confederation that will, out of Southern Cameroon, because if you leave one state there, you'll be cheating Southern Cameroonians. If you create 19 states inside one day, you are cheating them. You should carve out as many states so that development the states should compete in development.
When you say states where, for example, states where?
Now, you see, let me take the extreme north, the north. You go to Garoua, you have the Arabshua and the Kotoko. This what is that? You have those two. They are at each other's throat. You have to separate them. Let each person go his way, manage his own affairs. Give them 2 states to avoid trouble. Come down to Douala here. You have central region that has been brought right down. Southern region brought right down to Campo. Campo is a seaside city, a town with Kribi, much alike to Douala. I will gladly carve out from Campo to Douala 1 state, and then from Bonaberi right down to Limbe, that's another state. So you see, create states that identify the people. People should identify themselves. When you see a people that identify themselves culturally, put them into a state. You go to the Western region, there is the Bangladesh people. They are people who people who don't want to build with the others. So take them out and send them towards the Bafia people. They will be happy to build with Bafia people. Then you have the Fumbanese people. For Fumban, it is the only place that still calls itself a kingdom. Well, then let us make it the confederal capital, the kingdom of Fumban. Let them manage only their affairs, because you put them in any other person there in that Western region, you're causing trouble. You see, that is the type of thing I'm talking about.
But you are now coming back to what Cabral Yubi talked about.
No, sir.
Communal federalism.
No. Look,
because
I am not talking of communal federalism.
Yeah, you're trying to group people according to ethnicities here.
You see, look, Cabral Yubi's thing is something that is very near decentralization. I am talking confederation. If you look at Libya, what Gaddafi did in Libya, that is nearer to what I am talking about. I'm not talking communal, I'm not talking decentralization. I'm talking about confederation. I want to have states, not communal entities. So that's the difference. You look at Nigeria. I say this thing again. Nigeria is a failed federation because they went out for the opposite of the federation that Cameroon had. Cameroon had a federation where the federated states were stronger than the federal state. Nigeria took the opposite. Federated states weaker than the federal state. Now, in that setup, the federal president should be or must be economically powerful for the whole country to be fine. Unfortunately, when they had good luck, it was fine. Now they have somebody who is not as performant. Sorry. Okay. We saw strikes. So their president announced that they are going back now to decentralization. That is, they want to come back to Cameroon. Shows that they have failed. Had they taken confederation, that is, those their states were made to have more powers to manage their affairs independently, Nigeria will not know national strikes for hunger. So I think that what is good for this country is a confederation where everybody should be allowed to manage his affairs. Then we have common interest. The confederal state should manage the army, diplomacy, finance, money, customs, and you let's allow the rest to the states. Mines. So when money comes, you have a quota to be given to everybody. They should be in charge of dividing the wealth equally to everybody. So you don't have one person having all the money on the table and then giving whoever he wants whatever he pleases.
Okay, we're going to be ending at this juncture. Thank you, Senior Barrister Ashu Emmanuel, National President of the Reform Party, for accepting our invitation to talk about the CDC crisis, the efficiency of our respective ministers in Cameroon, and also on how ready you are for next year's elections.
Thank you, Mr. Kum. The pleasure is mine. I want to thank the owners of My Media Prime TV for giving us this opportunity. And we pray that God should continue to, not butter. Butter is cheap. Why don't you put cheese now? God should cheese their bread.
Okay, we want to thank you all also for watching this edition of the program. Thank you to you, Desmond and Eli, for our production. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.